What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius banner review, and today we're doing Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, the collab banner coming out, and we're going to find out, is this worth using your Lapis tickets, etc. on, if you guys are saving up for Hio. We're going to have to get into that. It's a double 5-star base banner. It does have a step-up banner. However, again, remember that the step-up banner doesn't have rainbow rate-ups, but you do get one of the guaranteed 5-star bases at the end of it. I do believe it costs 20k Lapis to do a full lap. We'll get in, you'll have to decide on that yourself after we talk about the units. So the first unit we're going to talk about here is Frank Pritchard. He is a 3-star base going up to 5-star. TMR is Cerebral Augmentation, increase HP and MP 15%, and increase Lightning Resist by 20%. I think this is a great TMR to get, especially since you're getting it from the raid for the Lightning Resist 20%. When we're trying to build up our Lightning Resist, it'd be nice to have this with those extra padded stats, just in case we need to give it to other units besides our AoE tanking tank, similar to how we're having to do right now with Omega, where we need our Fire Resist 100% on everybody because he does a preemptive fire attack. So I think this is a very good TMR to pick up. Speaking of this character as a unit, he has a bunch of different abilities I feel like that could be useful. Add lightning element attacks to one of your allies for 1 turn. Now, it does suck, you'd have to keep casting it. However, it's a little bit of a lightning decrease. This is going to be there for the fixed dice users who are chaining and finishing with lightning, with the lightning element, but mostly for Olive, because Olive can take down the lightning resist of the opponent, and then you have a fixed dice user, boom, they use fixed dice, they chain with another fixed dice user, there's some lightning added onto there. The sad part is, when you chain with another fixed dice user, you're only going to be able to put it onto 1, so elemental chaining isn't going to really be there. So it's kind of rough unless you have 2 of these on the same team. But when you're looking at Olive, you're kind of looking for 1-turn KO kills anyway. This could be used there. You could use 2 of them, perhaps. Then put both fixed dice users, have both of these. Olive's the one that's finishing. Could work out okay. Remove caster from battle for 1 turn. If used, Blade Shintaro. Name changes into Rewire Processors. Inflict 1 random status elements 100% to all enemies. Don't care about that. The remove the caster from battle for 1 turn might be useful in the future. You really owe me one. Randomly use. So 70% of the time it's going to be a 20% damage mitigation to the team. 20% of the time you're going to get 25. And 10% of the time you're going to get 30. Still useful. Even the 20% to everybody is still useful. So this character has already shown me 2 uses right there. And then increase physical damage against machines for 3 turns to 1 ally. So again, could ramp it up. Could play this on one of your damage dealers with fixed dice, throw this lightning element on it, or it doesn't even have to be fixed dice, something that has no element attached to it. And then, you know, after that, just go to town with damage dealing and putting the lightning element if you would like. If that was like 2 turns, it would be perfect. Sadly, it's only 1. And then you could really owe me one if you need to. Decrease encounter rate 25%, meaning, again, this unit is having another use, being able to take them in when you're doing explorations where you don't want to run into anybody. You can take them there. Let's look at this Limber Burst. Increase attack, it's 39%. All right, not too worried about that. It's an AoE buff and an AoE break, but the numbers aren't there. So, overall, for the first time in a long time, I think that Frank Pritchard actually has some uses, viable uses in the meta right now. For the strictly for 1-turn KO kills most of the time. So, hey, I think it's pretty good for a 3-star to 5-star base. Moving on to Vac Law of Color, we have a 4-star base going up to 6-star. Let's look at this Time Machine secrets. Increase HP and attack by 20%. Increase physical evasion by 5%. The only time I see you using this is if you don't have any other type of physical evasion. You're trying to build up your evasion tank. You need this TMR to finish it off. I do believe you're already going to have it, though, and there are already better options. There are definitely better options out there. So, honestly, this TMR seems kind of bleh. But if you need it, you can go ahead and go for it. Let's look and see what Vac Law could do for us, because I was thinking this unit was going to be useless. Let's see. If I see physical damage, inflict confuse, physical damage, mitigate damage taken 10%. So I guess there's a 10% there. Increase defensive spirit for 1 turn to ally by 50%. Don't care about that. Physical damage 5 times, physical damage 2 times. Don't care about that. Heal 2000 split over 3 turns to caster. So do it to yourself. Increase defense sensitive to caster. Do it to yourself. Don't care about that. Enables black market augmentation, and that's what I wanted to see what it does. Black market augmentations. Decrease defensive spirit 60% to all enemies. Increase attack and magic 60% for all allies. So the break actually doesn't seem that bad. So we go up here. We have to cast this for 1 turn for themselves. To cast on Vac Law of Self, and then you move on down, and you can break the enemy by 60%. Now, that's not that bad, but it is a 2-turn break. It lasts for 3 turns, so you can have it ready to go again. So, First off, I could see using him for a 60% break for defense and spirit together if you don't have somebody else to do it. So that's actually really good. Moving on down, let's see. Decrease lightning resist by 50% for 5 turns, no. Add lightning element attack to physical attacks for 5 turns to caster. I was thinking I was going to say to an ally, but it's the caster, so no. Enables the following ability for 3 turns. Full augmentation potential. Okay, let's see that. Physical damage 2.5 times with ignore defense 25% to enemy. And it chains, and it says the chaining family is Octaslash. So that's going to chain with Sephiroth. I do believe that chains with Onion Knight as well. However, it's like casted ability, get it for 3 turns, which is only a 1-turn rev up. He's not going to be doing that much damage. He doesn't have that much damage in the tank, so I'm not even... This isn't even there. This isn't there for me. It's not good enough. This is what you're going to be using this character for right now, is the breaks. Let's look at the actual limit burst of this guy. Limit, lightning physical damage, 4 point times 2 to all enemies. Increase attack 64% for 3 turns a caster. Decrease attack and magic 52% to all enemies. The problem I have with this, again, is there are even better 3-star base going up to 5-star, like Timothy, who could break, you know, and do it to all stats, like a full break, things like that. So, sadly, just like I thought, unless somebody out there knows some weird use for him, Vac Law of Color, I was calling Vac Law, I think, just isn't good enough for me, isn't getting there, isn't who I want to be pulling for. So, actually, I don't even see a use for this guy even at TMR. So, that guy's, maybe you guys will, maybe you need this 5%. I don't think so. You want that 10% off of other abilities you can get a hold of. So, kind of a letdown. All right, time to talk about our first of 2 5-star bases on this banner, going up to 7-star, and Adam Jensen. At TMR, that's the big thing about Adam Jensen. We're going to talk about this TMR real quick. TF29 agent. Remember, this is TMR, not STMR, meaning you can farm this if you get him from the raid. Increase equipment attack 20% when dual wielding. So, True Dual Wield is here, 20% of it right there. You can slap on somebody. Remember that the threshold for that is 100% pre-battle instead of 300% because it's just so powerful. And then on top of that, on top of all of that, it increases attack. It's got gun mastery, sword mastery, throwing weapon mastery, and fist mastery. And that's going to be for 30% on each of those. The problem that people see with this is they don't see you equipping a gun and a sword, a throwing weapon and a fist, you know, throwing weapon sword, throwing weapon gun, gun fist. You know, that normally doesn't happen. And then that's true. However, just having the 30% added for any of those you put on your unit is super baller with increased attack 20% True Dual Wield, all right? Little cliff note. True Dual Wield isn't the biggest thing in the world in JP. It's normally True Double Hand. However, I do feel like they will eventually try to mold it so that both work pretty evenly. I don't even know if they can pull that off, but if they can, that'd be amazing. I do feel like this is a very, very rare type of TMR to get your hands on, unless they're bringing a lot more of that to Global to try to combat the True Double Hand. So this is something you're definitely pulling for on this banner. If you're pulling for this TMR, okay? Because it's that good, it's that useful. Even if you're using a true double hand God, unit, it's hard to get these all in there. True TDH. I do believe that this could still be good to have in your back pocket because again, it's limited time. So yeah, that's pretty good. I think in the future they do release some way of you being able to get, like, you know, those little Mog prisms we get with TMRs from limited time banners. So maybe there's another way you can get this, guys. But for it to be guaranteed off of a 20k pool at the very end, you can get it before that too, or on tickets. And for you to be able to ramp it up and be able to get a hold of it, I think it's an okay investment. Moving on to his STMR. It's Jensen Trench Coat. Let's go ahead and click on that so we can get the exact stats on it. Attack 35, defense 20, spirit 20, SWAT specialist, increase attack by 50% when you have a gun on, so gun mastery, that's what we thought it was. So it's going to give you gun mastery. Now this is going to be really good on anybody that wants to use a gun. I mean, that's 50% more attack. However, it's just not that insane, right? It's not that insane. It's not that widely used. So overall, I don't see anybody going on this banner being like, yes, I need to pull 4 Adam Jensen right now, or I'm going to miss out on this amazing STMR. I don't see it. So kind of could be skipping over that. Although it's still really good on anybody who uses guns. Excuse me. So moving on down, what about Adam Jensen as a unit? So we can see here he has a full break for 45% attached to a Libra. He has an ability to negate physical damage for 3 turns to caster, which may come in use sometimes. He has a defense on-demand defense 60% break, which is extremely high. He has a move called Tesla, lightning damage 3.5 times to one enemy, decreased lightning resist 50%, inflict paralyze 60%. It is a 6-hit chaining frame, not that powerful. So First off, looking at this, not that powerful of a hit to be chaining with, so we're going to move on from it. We're going to be comparing his damage to other 6-star bases and 7-star bases. So this ability, I look at this ability as it does some damage, it can chain, and it does a 50% lightning resist. That's pretty much what you're doing for this decrease right here. Wideband frequency jammer. Increase physical damage against mechanical monsters, machines, 100% for 3 turns to caster. And it does a little bit of damage. So if you use this, he's going to ramp up and be even better against machines. So that's pretty good. Implanted rebreather. Okay, so this has a lot it does to you. Cure all status elements to caster. So you can get rid of everything on you. Increase resist to all status elements 100%. Cure attack, defense, magic, spirit, break, stop, and charm to caster. And you may see this right here. Stop and charm to caster. So, how are you... He's not resistant stop and charm. So, how are you supposed to be able to use this if you're stopped and charmed? The game will allow you to cast this. From what I understand, if you get stopped or you get charmed, you're gonna be able to use this. It's a little bit... It's actually a lot bit worse than just being resistant to stop and charm because you have to take a whole turn to cast this on yourself. But hey, it's there. But he has the ability to get rid of all kinds of nasty stuff on him. Increase his break resist 100% for 3 turns, and his stop resist and charm resist. So you can cast this ahead of time on yourself if you would like to get the stop and charm resist. But you're taking a whole turn off. I don't know. It's a very cool ability, but it only counts to himself, so I don't know how useful that's going to be just for him. Because it doesn't even give it to your allies, so... Quicksilver Reflex Booster. Instant KO or deal physical damage 3 times to one enemy. I guess that's going to be useful in the arena. I have no idea. I don't do the KO stats, strats in the arena. I normally just do heavy magic AoE chaining to kill people. Titan. Grant HP barrier 3,500 for 3 turns to caster. So this is actually pretty interesting. So what it means by HP barrier is that your character, let's say they have 8,000 health. You can't heal any higher than that. You can't overheal them. However, if you have an ability like this, that 8,500 health, you know what I mean, becomes 12,000 health, right? It puts a little tiny shield in front. You can't heal it, but it will take the damage before its actual HP pool takes the damage. So that's pretty neat. But again, it's in terms of a damage dealing unit who I think is a finisher. So not that useful, in my opinion. Nano Blade. Physical damage 3 times with consecutive increases 11 times for 14 times total to one enemy. So for a total of, what is that? 14 times total? So you get up to 14 times. Yeah, 1 times each. 11 plus 3x. So 14x to one enemy with that Nano Blade. And that is his stellar 6-star ability. I think it's garbage. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's worth anything. 14 times? Come on, man. We have finishers that can do that already. Like, on command. Like, just boom, knock it out with a limit burst. Or boom, knock it out with an ability. Looking at you, Dragon Lord. Not good. So that is it for his 6-star when we're talking about his abilities. This is his go-to. He either is going to be using Nano Blade to finish, which I think is what you're going to be using if you use him, or Tesla for the 3.5 times to one enemy, 6 chain hit. Not even that high of a chaining hit. I like to have my chaining hits around 7. All right, moving on to his 7-star cooldown abilities. And you're going to notice a theme here. We have available on turn 5, available on turn 5. So right there, I'm just like real sad panda. Like, available on turn 5? Are you kidding me? We got to wait that long? At least he has one on turn 1. We'll look into that. So if you can wait till turn 5, fire physical damage 12 times to one enemy. Decrease fire resist 100% for 3 turns to one enemy. So the problem with this I see is you can't cast this fire resist down in peril and then cast explosive heat blade again before this is gone. So what's the point? I don't like this design at all. And then you have to wait 5 more turns. So on turn 10 you can cast this 12 times. Not even that big of a deal. Hit again. You know what I mean? Like that's, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it there. A 6-turn cooldown on this one. Available turn 1 though at least. Fire physical damage 12 times to all enemies. Okay, so now we can try to take advantage of this if we get there. Decrease fire resist 75%. All right, so the fire resist is going to be down for this fire damage. So that's okay. Chaining family tornado. So, hey, there are a lot of tornado chainers out there. You get a 1-turn typhoon fire physical damage to all enemies. Very high modifier on that. Hits 12 chains with tornado. Seems pretty good and decreases fire resist by 75%. But again, it doesn't seem like it really melds together. You're going to be able to cast that once, and then you're not chaining again with tornado friends. So why would you bring him and chain with tornado friends if you're not going to be able to do it on 1 turn? Not the best there, Jensen. Moving on down, 5-turn cooldown available on turn 5. Increase physical damage against machine monster 75% for 1 turn to caster. 17 times physical damage. So that's a big finisher. Maybe you get the boss really low and you just smack him in the face with this 17 times or this 12 times with the fire physical damage. Maybe that's what they want you to do. They want you to slowly be building up Nano Blade, and then at the end, bam, smack him in the mouth. And at the beginning, you can cast this to have fire resist down. I don't know. But it doesn't seem that incredible to me when you can only cast this once every 5 turns. And again, we have other characters can pretty much do this damage every turn. So, nah, not for me. Not entirely for me just yet. Moving on down, let's look at his, that's his 7-star abilities. That's it. That's it, guys. That's all. His chaining ability would be this Tornado 1 he can use once at the beginning of turn 1 and then every 6 turns after that, every time he uses it. Mechanical Augmentation enables dual wielding of one-handed weapons. Increase attack 20%. So he can dual wield right off the bat, so that's good. Increase resist to poison disease 100%, increase HP 20%. Increase resist to blind 100%, increase attack 30%. Recover 10% MP per turn. These are all great passives. And then increase 30% auto heal 1800 HP per turn. So he's going to be able to auto heal himself. And that's it for 6-star. So overall, we're gonna scroll on down a little bit, and we're gonna go to the 6-star Limit Burst. Physical damage 7.4 with an Orf defense 50%, making it a 14.8 times multiplier. Decreased lightning percent 90%. That's actually pretty good, the 90%. So his Limit Burst ain't too bad, ain't too shabby. After you do that, I guess you could go up here and start doing the Tesla ability if you want, because it does lightning damage for chaining, or you could go into this if you the Nano Blade if you put a lightning weapon into his hands. Okay. What can he equip? Okay, he can't equip great swords. So you're not going to be able to put that lightning greatsword into his hand. Even more of a bummer. Moving on down, let's look at his set. So as a 6-star, I don't think he's very good at all. Honestly, they want you to be dual wielding with him, especially with this. And he's a finisher. He's a finisher besides 2 abilities, 1 lackluster, 1 here, and then 1 you can use every 6 turns. He's not, I don't know what, maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm not seeing the pretty picture that Gumi and Square Enix painted for this character. But it's just not coming together for me. So overall, bad 6-star unit. Now let's talk about a 7-star. So moving on down, we'll look at some more of his 7-star abilities. If you put his TMR on, again, which is the True Dual Wield ability, right? So you're going to be dual wielding with him. So finishing is going to be a problem because you're dual wielding. It's not going to be as good. You're going to be able to do the True Double Hand. You're going to have to go with the True Dual Wield, which just isn't in the end. You're going to have to try to fit both of his hits into your chains to be able to cap him off. And that makes it even harder. So a little bit rough there. It's already gone rough for a 7-star. Increase equipment by attack equipment by 60% when dual wielding. So he's got True Dual Wield. If he has his TMR equipped, it's going to be 80%. He is almost at the cap already within himself. So that's going to mean he's going to have a lot of attack percent. He's going to have a lot of attack going into here. Increase attack, defense, and spirit 20%. Use Juggernaut Collective Agent at the start of battle. All right, what is this? This is new. Grant HP barrier 2000. Oh my god. I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the character. Oh my god. Increase defense and good. Stats are good. Increase attack 50%. Man, oh man. Increase modifiers. Okay, here we go. Nano Blade, Pep's Not Back, Quicksilver Reflex, and Tesla by 2 times. So if we move up, let's see. Tesla's going up by 2 times. So it's becoming a 5.5 times modifier. So that's actually pretty sweet. So if we get to his 7-star, he's going to have a lot of attack. We just go the chaining route then, right? We put the True Dual Wield on his hands. We go, Tesla, that won't actually be that bad then. He'll be doing actually a lot of damage, especially if you can get off his 90% lightning resist down. So his 7-star is looking a lot better than his 6-star. Obviously, but I'm just, for his kit's sake. It's doing a little bit more damage. And then Nano Blade also gets affected here, right? Nano Blade gets a 2 times multiplier put on top of it. So now it's a finisher at 5 times at the beginning, and then finishes at 16 times if you get it all the way up. If you use it 11 times, which you're never going to do. The consecutive uses or whatever. I don't think you're ever getting to that with a 7-star base team. So that's all right. Moving on down, 100% if he's at 7-star for the lightning resist down. That's awesome. And then his physical damage limit burst, 1 hit, goes up to a 20.8 times multiplier, which is pretty good. So overall, if you end up getting 2 of him and you get a 7-star, I don't think it's that bad. It's nowhere. I don't think it's going to be on Heo level, obviously. So it's going to be, he's not going to be that great, and he doesn't have W cast. He's not going to be as strong as a lot of 7-stars. And when I say W cast, it means being able to cast Tesla multiple times, if that makes any sense. Instead of just the 2 times with dual wield, there's some that can triple cast abilities, like Titus can triple cast quick hit. So I don't think he's going to be ranking really, really high up there in the 7-star range. I know I've been rambling on, but I just want to talk about it with you guys. But I do believe he's kind of decent at 7-star if you end up pulling 2 of them and you want to test them out. Use the Tesla. You could try his finisher, but essentially I would wait for his finishers when it's down here like this. I would use these as his finishers and his limit burst. I wouldn't be using this Nano Blade ability. At least, no, probably not. I'd be using Tesla. Try to chain it up with 2. But the problem is, are you going to be able to find 2 of the Adam Jensens on your friend list? So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 at 7-star. When it comes to 6-star, he's a solid 6.5 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. He just doesn't, his 6-star doesn't go together. His 7-star kind of does. So that's Adam Jensen. Now time for Viktor, Marchenko, the bald baddie with the auto mel arm. I don't know what they call it in that game. I'm going with FMA references here. He is a 5-star base going to 7-star tank, global first tank, so I'm super excited about him to see what he does. Let's look into him. So if we look here, TMR, Energy Converter, increase HP 20% and defense 30%, auto heal 1800 HP per turn, recover 10% MP per turn. So, right now, I have my Wilhelm at like 22,000 HP, and I'm assuming I can get Viktor up to something close to that with 7-star base tank, or a 5-star base going to 7-star base tank. 1800 HP is going to help, but it's really not going to knock out a big chunk of his HP. HP 20% is awesome, because HP 30% is the best, that we're looking at right now, and defense 30%. So, for 10% HP, you're adding 30% defense, but I do believe we have a TMR that does 30% HP and 20% defense. So, is the MP regeneration auto heal worth it on here? I don't think so. Maybe you guys, some people will think differently. Maybe you value things a little bit different than me. But I don't think this TMR is worthy. Let's see, who else can we put it on? We can put it on our healers, but I just don't think it's there. No. I just don't think this TMR is worthy of a 5-star base. This seems more of like they slapped on that auto heal there, and they were like, yeah, dude, this is totally a 5-star base TMR. So, kind of disappointed with Viktor's TMR. However, his STMR is sexy. Marchenko's secrets increase defense by 80% when you have a heavy armor on. And then you resist the sleep, paralyze, confuse, and petrify. 80% defense. My God, it makes me so angry this is his STMR. But I guess it makes sense because that is literally broken. That is amazing. I cannot even imagine. I'm sure it only stacks up once. You can only have one of them on. But I can only imagine having that on my Wilhelm and seeing what my defense is going to be. Or on Viktor. Or on another 7-star base tank. That is insane. However, I can't just be like, guys, pull crazy trying to get 4 of these Viktors in order to get the Marchenko secrets. Now, I guess there will be a way out in the future where you can get limited time 5-star bases somehow through some kind of, because you can't get them on the unit of choice tickets. That's already been told. So your unit of choice tickets you're getting right now, you're not going to be able to get Viktor out of those. You're not going to be able to pick Viktor or Jensen or 2B, A2, Dragon Lord, things like that, because they are limited time, Randy. They're limited time. So I can't tell you to go out there and spend countless numbers of lapis, countless numbers of dollars in order to get this STMR. But if you end up getting it, you end up pulling Viktor 4 times magically if you do 3 runs on this, 3 laps. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, brother. Because you got a great STMR right there. That thing is broken. Let's move on down. So one of the things, let's just look at what this guy can do. Okay, so on demand, can break 50% magic and spirit or attack and defense. 50% on a tank. So boom, not only can they provoke, not only are they tanking, 50%. Pretty good breaks. Moving on down, Showdown is his first ability where you can pull in his target to him, pull in the enemy. Increased chance of being targeted 100% for 5 turns. So that's 5 turns. That's sweet. Increase attack and defense 100% for 5 turns the caster. So the defense 100% is what we're looking at. You may have somebody that buffs up better. You may not be able to. I'm learning that you can't fit a buffer in your team most of the time. Now, I'm going to say most of the time. A lot of the time. I guess it's the same thing. I'm running into the problem of putting CG Nickel on my team. I'm just saying that. Increase limit burst gauge by 1 to 4. So this 100% on its provoke is actually pretty sweet. Then he has the same ability that we just talked about with Jensen, where essentially he's not stop and charm resist, but he has the ability to get it off of him. All the attack breaks, put himself attack, defense, spirit, and break resist. Status Element, same thing. Implanted Rebreather, excellent ability when it comes time. However, it doesn't do much for the rest of your team, so it's kind of a one-man show. But for tanks, that's kind of okay in my opinion. For tanks, they can get away with it. Biocell Restoration, recover 10,000 HP, 10,000 again, and 200 MP to caster. It costs 50 MP. But you're getting that MP back, baby. So, sick ability to be able to cast on your own tank. If he can heal himself. He can heal himself. And this is where we start getting into some stuff that's kind of crazy. Pro Augmentation. Physical damage 4 times with defense scaling. And this guy should have a ton of defense to one enemy. Increase physical damage against humans by 75%. So, for the first time since Awakened Rain with its spirit damage dealing, we're seeing a tank that can actually dish the damage out and puts killer abilities on himself. That's big. So now we're looking at a tank that is going to be able to provoke, draw in attacks, and then dish out a lot of damage. you guys are going to see how much that damage is as we move down. And with the killer abilities, if he's fighting one of those people that he has his physical damage up on, it's going to be pretty good. And then he has pro-human, which is the flip side. He's going to increase damage against machines. So he chooses to fight for the humans against the machines. Confrontation, another chance for him to provoke to himself. Increased chance of being targeted 100% for 5 turns. Mitigate damage taken for 25% for 5 turns. So he's going to be able to, you know, this is the one you would use if you're, it's a tough call. But I think overall I'd probably be using confrontation a little bit more at first, you know, for his first turn, because it goes for 5 turns. You have 5 turns in between to maybe cast Showdown anyway between there. But I'm probably using this to try to give him that damage mitigation to 25%. I think it's pretty good. Takedown. Physical damage 7.5 times with defense scaling to 1 enemy. 7.5 times. Holy shit. That's pretty high. The one thing I do want to say about this guy is I don't think he has weapon variants thrown into his attacks. I do believe this is a flat modifier. You're not going to get a weapon variance in there. It's based off his defense, so that's kind of sad. But hey, so you're... Yeah, I don't really know how this is going to work, but I do not think... So you're not... I remember Hal talking about he was going to get fixed dice and put fixed dice on this guy, and he's going to do a mad damage with his finishing moves, and maybe that might work out. And that'll make him super broken. But if you can't, then he's still pretty good, but not as broken as he could have been. Security system. Physical damage 6.5 times with defense scaling to all enemies. 30 hit chain. I think it's... Who is it? Lunera? Lunera he can chain with? Lunera has this ability, correct? So he can chain with somebody on your team. And that's going to be a starting at 7-star, excuse me. So let's stop right there. Let's look at his 6-star abilities, okay? Let's look at him as a tank at 6-star. Let's go down and look at what his passes are to 6-star, so I can give you my opinion. I know a lot of people wanted that. They wanted me to stop at 6-star because they're not going to be able to get 7-star and see what, you know, see what I think about their 6-star only. So, cybernetic prosthesis? Enable dual wielding one-handed weapons. So he's going to be able to dual wield one-handed weapons. However, so I guess so you can use these physical damage with defensive scaling abilities twice. You know, bam. But I think I want to put a shield on him. I don't know. Maybe this guy... We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it here in a minute. Chance to counter physical attacks 30% with normal attack. Increase attack and defense 150% for 2 turns when HP drops below 50%. So this is going up to... His defense is going up to 150% when his HP drops below 50%. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Titan armor. Increase defense 50% when equipped with a heavy armor. Nice. So I'm telling you, he's got a lot of defensive buffs. Increased defense about 30%. So overall, let's look at his thing here. Physical damage 8.5 times to all enemies if you max that out at 6-star. So overall, what is at 6-star? What is Viktor doing for you? So Viktor is going to be just a provoke tank that can also do a lot of damage. Okay, can do a lot of damage. Has an ability to heal himself. Can take care of himself when it comes to breaks, status ailments, stops, charms, things like that. That's all he can do, though. And the problem I see with this is he may be tanky. He may be super tanky. But if you're using him for his defensive hits and things like that, you're not building him... you're not going to be building him evade. So he's going to have to be able to survive those hits and things like that, which he probably will. I mean, he's a 7-star base, so he probably... or 6-star, at 6-star, it's going to be a little bit more rough. So that's why I said that. So the 6-star is going to be a little more rough to survive. You're going to want to put him to 7-star to make sure he can survive those hits. Because a lot of people are going evade, so you're going to miss out on that defensive buff. I kind of see him as an off tank that can provoke as long as the hits aren't too big, and they'd be dishing out the damage at 6-star. So I give him something like a 7.5 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. He definitely is very interesting, going to be very fun to play around with, because for the first time ever, you can chain with your tank and deal damage based on defense. I do believe that the Dino dude did it as well, the Dino tank, Barusa, but not to this extent. This guy is much higher up than Barusa would be when it comes to damage. So, let's look at his 7-star base and see what we think about that. Security systems, physical damage. This is the one where he can chain. So at 6-star, you cannot chain. So you are not going to be able to do that chaining at 6-star. So be aware of that. You have to wait till you get to 7-star. Physical damage 6.5 times defense scaling. We already talked about that. So let's look at his cooldown abilities. We can see the same thing going on here. You have to wait on turn 5 for all of them except for 1. But at least he only has a 3-turn ability on his turn 1. So that's going to be interesting. So if you wait till turn 5, you can use one of these 2 abilities. Physical damage 18.5 times with defense scaling to 1 enemy. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Decrease lightning resist 75% to 1 enemy. So he is going to do a lot of damage right there. So he could be like... So the reason I like him is he could be your physical tank throughout the fight, right? Tanking, dealing a little bit of damage. And once he ramps up to this stuff, you can chain up, and that is your tanks. He could serve the role of a tank and a finisher. Okay? So he's not going to be doing as much damage, I don't think, as a normal finisher would be. However, he still can do it, though. He can still do damage. So he's going to add a crap ton of damage to your team when you can't fit a finisher in. Love it. His next ability he can do is, okay, so the two choices you have on turn 5, which you can cast one, and then next turn you can cast the other one. I'm not saying you have to pick one, but I mean, on that turn 5, you can only cast one. The next one would be if you want to put down fire resist. So they have lightning resist down and fire resist down, which is pretty sweet. Because Hio does do lightning and fire resist down, so you're wanting to do lightning and fire damage with him. So, I mean, he might have a little bit of, fun with that. Augmented Titan is the one you can use on turn 1. Increased chance of being targeted by 100%. So there's another, he has 3, right? One Showdown, Confrontation, and now Augmented Titan. This is only for 2 turns to caster. Mitigate physical damage taken by 20% to caster. Grant HP barrier of 4,000 to caster. So, when you get him up to that 20k or so HP, if you have all the TMRs to slap on him, you're going to actually be able to get 4,000 extra life put on him when you can use this. Again, it only lasts for 2 turns, so it's a 3-turn cooldown, so you have to cast this and then make sure you pick it up with like Confrontation or Showdown to make sure that 5 turn is on there until Augmented Titan comes up. But he's going to be able to take even more using this ability on turn 1. This is your turn 1 you're going to be using. Nice. Pretty good. Let's move down to Secrets of the Old Blue Eye. Requirements TMR equip, which is the attack. Is it the attack? I thought it was HP and defense. Where's it at? Yeah, HP and defense up, auto heal, and MP recovery, okay? If you have that on him, he's going to get physical damage. Not physical damage. Increase attack and defense 30%, so he's getting 30% more. Increase defense 40% when dual wielding. So you have to dual wield in order to get this to pull this off. So it makes it seem like the weapons are going to play a role, but from what I've been talking about with other people is that the fixed dice weapon variance isn't going to be applied, which is going to be a problem. So you're going to have to duel with him. You're not putting a shield on him, which kind of sucks, but hey, you're going in there for damage with him anyway, and that's an extra 70% on top of everything else he's getting. So you might actually be able to hit the defensive cap with this guy before you go into battle. Like you might be able to get 300% depending on what kind of TMRs you get. It's so much. Okay, you're probably not getting that high even with his STMR, but you're getting damn close to it. Spirit goes up by 20% at 7-star. Increased defense. Here's another 20%. And increase modifiers to pro-human, pro-augmentation, and takedown, which are his big abilities here. So it's going to be 9.5 instead. This is going to be a 6.5, right? No, 6. It's only 2 times. So it's going to be 6 and a 6. So it makes him even stronger when you get him to 120. So this is a guy you definitely want to get to 120 if you're using him. And we look at his limit burst 15 times to all enemies. Holy shit, what else can I say? Let's look at the, so overall a 7-star, really, really good tank. Physical provoker, but that's all he can do. He's never going to have the ability to AoE cover, so he's only going to, his role, I'm going to say only, his role is to tank, provoke tank, single target tank, and dish the damage, and possibly be a finisher for you. He's one of the most interesting units to come out in the game. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how he works. If fixed dice works with him, he'll be busted. The amount of damage he'll be able to produce is actually insane for a tank. But then again, you're not getting the dual wield benefits where at the bottom where it talks about getting that defense up. But I mean, when it's fixed dice, who cares? It's going to be so much more on the weapon modifier. His negatives again are he cannot AoE cover. But that's pretty much it. I mean, he does also has breaks. So if you already have a 7-star tank in mind, like a physical one, if you already have Wilhelm, you don't have to worry about Viktor. Wilhelm will cover for you. Viktor is going to be a super fun unit, again, to be able to do the damage and single target tank. So I'm going to give his 7-star a solid 8.5 to 9 out of 10. We're depending on how we see how his damage does and how it works with weapons and things like that. So that's pretty interesting. So overall, what about this banner, Claic? Am I pulling on it? This is a super skippable banner. The only thing I see you definitely need in your life is Adam Jensen's TMR. And that's not even a definite need because True Double Hand will be reigning supreme for a long time to come, if not forever. But if you're planning on using a dual wielding unit in the future, you're planning to use our 7-star, you really like it, there you go, that's a TMR for you. The Frank Pritchard seems like a really great unit to have on your team. Also a TMR that's worthy of getting. The 4-star is completely a blank. And the best unit on the banner is going to be Viktor. It's up to you if you want to pull guys with Hio on the horizon. I'm going to tell you, nah, it's skipped. Skip it, guys. I'm going to be doing some pulls on it because it's a step up. It's limited time. We're going to have some fun tomorrow night like we normally do at 8 p.m. EST. If you guys want to come check it out on my stream. But other than that, skippable banner, but a fun banner, at least at that. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how I took way too much time to explain all that. But I hope it helped you guys out. And then subscribe for future content. We'll see you guys in the next video.